What's up, everybody? Welcome out to Grace. If we've never had the chance to meet before, my name is John, and I'm one of the pastors here on staff. But this weekend, I get to be your host. Super excited about that. Especially if this is like one of your first times here. I want to just say thank you so much for making this like part of your weekend. We are all about connecting, especially outside of just this room. We know this is a big room, and so we want to help you connect here at Grace, whether you've been here for years or if this is like your very first time pulling up. One of the best ways to do that is what we call the weekly. That's that QR code that is on the backs of your seats. That is just everything and anything that is up and coming that we want to make sure that you guys have at your fingertips. A couple of the things that are coming up here next Sunday at our Montrose location, which is kind of like 5 minutes down the road, we're going to be having Discovery, which is basically like Grace 101. It's like the introduction to Grace, who we are, why we do what we do, how we do that, and it is an amazing time to jump in. So if you haven't been to that ever or haven't been to it in a while, that's an amazing time. You can sign up through that link or just show up. They'll take you as you are. So we'd love to have you jump into that. Another thing that is coming up here on November 16th, this is a save the date. November 16th, we're going to be doing communion as a church family. So if you consider Grace to be your home, we would love for you to take part in that. Invite your friends and family into that space. If you're investigating who Jesus is and just kind of like want to jump in and observe that, we would love for you to be part of that as well. So just want to put those out to you guys. There's a bunch of other things out there like groups and classes and all sorts of ways to connect, prayer requests and all the rest that we would love to have you guys jump into, self-navigate. And if you guys need any help with that, I'll actually be hanging out in the lobby after service, and would love to connect with you, man. So but the other thing that we wanted to let you guys know is we're actually kicking into a new gear. It is November, and it is the best weekend in November because tomorrow we get to sleep in, everybody. It is, yes, I heard those claps. It's going to be amazing. We're super excited for that. But no, this is just a fun time of year in general. Pastor Jeff is actually out visiting some of our affiliate churches and campuses, and he's actually like filmed a little like selfie video here this morning with Corbin Hogue out in Greenville, South Carolina. Wanted to give us a little update on the movement of Grace. So let's go ahead and check that out together.
Hey everybody, just wanted to say hi. I miss you guys this weekend, but I'm down here in Greenville, South Carolina with our affiliate church planner, Corbin Hogue.
How y'all doing?
And we're excited about what God is doing here. We started down here about 3 years ago, about 125 people already in a church plant. And just what's God doing here, and what's doing on the horizon with you?
So the thing that we are loving around here is watching God change lives. We just had a baptism last Sunday, and just people going public with their faith. And also, we are moving into a brand new building by the second week of December. So we are super excited about that.
So you guys know Corbin. He comes from us. He's our family, and doing an incredible job here with his wife Berticia and the kids. And so grateful for that. But thanks for supporting this. Thanks for being behind it. And I do miss you guys, but it's sunny and 60 down here. So, but we'll be home next weekend. All right, love y'all.
Yeah, that's awesome. We love getting to celebrate what God is doing through the movement of Grace and like the greater Grace family. So it's fun to just kind of get to highlight some of that. And like I said, this is just a fun time of year. Christmas music is officially like a go. Like you guys can start listening to it. I see a couple head nods there. You guys might want to avoid Hobby Lobby, just like PSA. But no, we love this time of year. We love getting to celebrate what God's doing all throughout here, including this weekend. So this weekend, we're actually jumping into a new series of conversations that Pastor Josiah is going to kick off here. So yeah, we're super excited for this weekend in particular. As we're kind of kicking service off, would encourage you guys, go ahead and stand up. We're kind of spread out, so go ahead and lock eyes with the person that's like furthest away from you. Give them an exaggerated wave, and we'll get started here in a second.
God of Abraham, you're the God of covenant, faithful promises. Time and time again, you have proven you do just what you say. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I will remain steadfast. And then my heart, when you speak the word, it will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. Sing. And great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting, same I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me.
being together. We're going to continue with our service. You guys can go in and have a seat.
Sick. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Good. Man, that was really awful. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Good? What's up, Eric? Good to see you, bro. Man, if we have never met before, my name is Josiah. I'm the young adults pastor here. I know as soon as John did the announcements and you found out that Big Jeff was gone, I'm sorry, you're stuck with me. Ha, you have to listen to what I say. I'm just kidding. But seriously, I am the young adult pastor here, and every weekend I'm always meeting different young adults that are somewhere between, the 18 and 30 range, something like that. And if that's you and you've never connected with Collective, that's our young adult ministry, Collective, you definitely have to do that. Thursday nights are for like 18 to 24, more college age range, but we just launched Tuesday nights, which is the 22 plus. So if you're a young adult, but post-college age, whatever that season of life is, you want to come Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock. And actually, we're going on a retreat together on November 21st to the 23rd. That is an amazing step. If you want information on that, if you know someone in that age range, you can scan the QR code on the chair. It actually does something. And if you scroll down, there's a link to that. But we're starting a brand new series today that I'm very excited about. But before I tell you what the series is, I want to tell a story, if that's chill. So when I was in college, I went to this event. And this event was at some organization. It was, like an hour, 2 hours away. I forget how far away it was. And I was there with about 100 other people, 100 other college-age, adults. And at this event, they took us to this gigantic field. It was like this all-day thing. And in that field, we played this game called the Thunderdome. The Thunderdome. I don't know if you've ever heard of this game called the Thunderdome, but there's 2 rules to the game, okay? The first rule is this. Every person is wearing a different color sock. So there's 4 different colors of socks. So if you are on the blue team, your objective is to steal all the red socks off of the red team, and yes, they are wearing them. So as soon as they say go, you attack the red team and you rip their socks off. And at the end of the game, whichever team has acquired the most amount of other color socks while holding on to their socks, they're the winner of the game. That's the Thunderdome. The second rule is very important, though. I feel like this was a very fair rule. Guys can only attack guys, and girls can only attack girls. And I feel like that was fair enough. So they play this game, Thunderdome, 1, 2, 3. Everybody's rushing into this field and just tackling each other to the ground, playing this incredible game. We're having a blast. Well, I had one friend with me who came with me, and his name was Thomas, like the tank engine. And I don't know, I love Thomas so much, man. I love hanging with Thomas. I don't know how else to put it. Thomas is a little bit crazy. We all have that friend that's just a little bit crazy. And I don't know if you have a friend that when they get confused, they're very confident about the thing that they're confused about. You get what I'm saying? There's not a ton of self-awareness there. Another thing you need to know about Thomas is Thomas is basically blind. I've never seen a thicker prescription glasses than Thomas. If you put Thomas's glasses on for 5 minutes, you would need a prescription. You know what I mean? So he can't see all that well. Anyways, we're all playing the Thunderdome game. Everybody's kind of attacking each other. And Thomas missed all the rules and just walks into this game and just sees people attacking each other. And apparently, he just kind of wants in on the action. So what does he do? Well, there was one girl in the Thunderdome who had a shaved head. And mind you, Thomas can't really see. So what does Thomas do? He just tackles this girl to the ground. And he does not understand the objective of the game, so he just starts punching her. And we look and we're like, Thomas, what are you doing, bro? And he's just as aggressive. And Thomas is kind of short, So he's doing this. And so we pick Thomas up and we're trying to pry Thomas off of this girl. And he's like, I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill her. And we go, Thomas, bro, that's a girl, dude. And he goes, okay, and he finds someone else and tackles them instead. Now, here's the reason I tell you that story. When you don't understand the battle that you're in, you're not going to know how to fight it. When you don't understand the battle that you're in, you're not going to know who to fight or how to fight it. I want to give a statement that's fundamentally true about all of us. No matter what phase of life you're in, whether you're 5 years old or 95 years old, no matter what phase of maturity, spiritual maturity, life stage, whatever. Let me give a statement that is just true about every person in this room. every single one of us has a battle that's happening inside of our minds every day. Every single one of us has a battle that is happening inside of our minds every day. Many of us wake up every morning anxious, uncomfortable in our own skin, constantly tense, constantly worried about what's going to happen next. Others of us, our life is plagued with insecurities that will not go away. What does that person think of me? How am I coming across? Am I performing enough in work? Do I have job security with this? You know, you constantly feel like there's something wrong with you, you know, whatever. Others of us, this is me, just have the hardest time relaxing. I don't know if any of you can relate to this. Like, I feel like anytime, I have this really comfy chair at my house. Anytime I sit down in the comfy chair and take a deep breath, you know, and the heart rate goes down, immediately what starts going through my mind is everything wrong with work, every person that I'm kind of frustrated with, every single broken relationship, anything that could get me tense. I can never seem to be able to relax. Many of us are full of like negative thinking. So you're cynical, you're naturally pessimistic, you're always skeptical about everything. Many of us are fighting depression. A lot of us right now are fighting depression, and I understand that very personally. So you have no motivation to get out of bed, and you have no motivation to like do well at work or with your family or whatever it is. You have no motivation to improve relationships, to seek out people. Why? Because what's the point of improving a life when it's already not feeling the way I wanted to feel? And then many of us have legitimate trauma from our past, like legitimate painful stuff from our past that is plaguing our present every single day. I don't know what it is for you, but all of us have a battle inside of our minds. Now, here's what's crazy about it. All of us know this battle is in our minds. So there's nothing physically restraining you from anything. We know that. But yet, this battle is preventing me from making all the decisions that I need to make. It's preventing me from trying to move forward in life. It's making me feel further and further behind. It's preventing me from restoring relationships. And it's all just taking place. Like, you know that if you just, put yourself out there, quote unquote, you can meet new people, all this improvement would come into your life. You know that, but something in your mind won't let you do it. You know that your fears or your insecurities or the things that are really bothering you, they're not based in reality. You know that, but it plagues you and stops you from doing what you need to do. You can't seem to put these thoughts away. And here's why this is so important. So there's this pastor, author, Craig Groeschel, his stuff is awesome. He has this quote where he says, your life is always moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. Your life is always moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. If the strongest thoughts you have are anxious thoughts, your life is going to move in the direction of anxiety, for sure. If you don't think that you're a valuable person, you're not going to turn your life into anything of value. I think a lot of us struggle with this. Like, if you think everyone is against you and everyone is judging you, you are going to, through your actions, make everyone against you, and you're going to start judging everybody else. Whatever the thing you think about the most, you spend the most time thinking about, how am I succeeding? What do other people think of me? Am I being treated fairly? Is this thing happening? Your strongest thoughts will determine the direction and the quality of your life, for sure. They will determine that. Now, here's what's fascinating to me. In our modern scientific culture, we talk a lot about like mental health, like that's like the umbrella category for all this, right? And what we tend to say is our mental battle is only a physical, neurological problem. That's how we talk about it. Our mental battle is only a physical, neurological problem. It's hormone imbalances, that's kind of all it is. And because it's exclusively a physical problem, we only know how to prescribe physical solutions. So just think about it. Like when somebody's like mental health is low, what do we say? We say things like, oh, you should start working out, or you should get on a different diet, or you should have better sleep patterns, or you should have better relationships because there's a study that when you're with people and this increases this hormone and blah, 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 you should start taking medication. And for the record, all those things are very good things. I'm not knocking any of that. Those things are extremely helpful. But we also need to be honest about this fact. Our physical solutions don't seem to be fixing this problem. Our physical solutions don't seem to be fixing the mental battle that's in our mind. Did you know that the United States of America is the most educated and determined culture ever when it comes to mental health? We are the most educated on mental health struggles, and we are the most determined to solving it, healing it, fighting it. So let me give you some stats. You know, the United States, leads the world in antidepressant consumption per capita. The United States is among the most willing to seek professional help and therapy for emotional distress. So for all the talk about like we need to raise awareness, that's great, that's awesome, but awareness is actually very high. We are the most likely to go see a therapist or a counselor. In 2019, CNBC reported that spending on mental health treatment in the United States had reached $225 billion. The amount of money we're spending on mental health treatment in 2019 was $225 billion. Now, not all the numbers are out, but the estimates are that we're up now into the $350 billion range because all that was before COVID, and COVID like skyrocketed all of those numbers up. Now, like I said, we can always talk about better access. We can always talk about improving those things, but here's what I want you to see. The United States has some of the best access to mental health care in the world. However, at the same time, the United States also has some of the worst mental health related outcomes. Did you know we have one of the highest suicide rates of any first world country? We have the second highest drug related death rate. 75% of Americans would have described themselves this month as having high levels of stress. 3 and 4, high levels of stress this month. This is wild. 42% of the rising generation has received a mental health diagnosis. So this is my world, this is like collective. 42% of the people I work with, my friends, that they would have a mental health diagnosis, and almost 40% of Gen Z has received treatment for their mental health diagnosis. Yet, even with all that treatment skyrocketing, our stats continue to get worse and worse and worse and worse year over year. So everybody hear me on this. I am not speaking against medication or going to the gym or therapy or anything like that. Those things can be extremely helpful. Here's what I'm saying. Physical solutions only fix physical problems. Physical solutions only fix physical problems. So, what if there's more to our mental battle than just the physical? What if there's more to this problem than just the physical neurological layer? Because it really seems like we're missing something. You know, so our culture, Western culture, is the first culture in history to fully embrace what's called the materialistic worldview, which means in the name of like science and in the name of progress, we don't really believe in anything other than the physical world. If you can't like measure something with a scientific method, we don't really functionally believe that it exists. But here's my absurd proposition. What if there's a reality that we've just closed our minds to? What if we aren't being open-minded enough? What if there's a reality that we've closed our minds to? What if there is a world beyond the physical, a metaphysical world? If you got a Bible or you got a phone, it's going to be on the screen too. We're going to look at Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. That's kind of where I'm going to camp out. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. And the Apostle Paul, he talks about this metaphysical reality. And here's what he says in the Bible. Paul says, listen, our struggle or our battle is not just against flesh and blood, the physical, but it's against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. That's a key verse. Against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Here's what Paul is saying. This is what he's getting at. There is a spiritual world that's fighting for your mind. There is a spiritual world that's fighting for your mind. Now, here's what I mean by spiritual, because I know sometimes people, when they throw out the word spiritual, they're like, ooh, you know, it's kind of like new agey and like that one professor in Harry Potter. Anyways, here's what I mean by spiritual. All I mean by spiritual is that which is beyond the physical, like a metaphysical layer to reality. In the mind of Paul and all the other biblical authors, there's this other dimension to reality that exists on top of the physical world that we exist in. So when I'm talking about beyond the physical, I'm not talking about like way out in the heavens somewhere, like way out in space. I'm talking about right here, a layered reality on top of what we're experiencing. It's happening all around us. We just can't see it. We can't measure it. We cannot detect it. Now, let me clarify something. I am very pro-science. So I'm not knocking anything scientific method. I don't think religion and science are at odds at all. I find that they inform each other. But I do think a lot of modern Americans have come to believe that if something can't be detected via the scientific method, therefore it doesn't exist. Which is kind of an absurd proposition because that claim, ironically, is an anti-scientific claim. Paul is saying something different. He's talking about a spiritual world that by definition cannot be detected by the scientific method because the scientific method can only detect physical realities. It would be like trying to find plastic with a metal detector. He's like, by definition, talking about something outside of that. Now, this is all, I understand, this is all hard for us to get our heads wrapped around, and it's all hard for us to functionally believe in. Because everything that we like value and everything that we experience is like, a physical thing that we can, it's tangible, you can measure it, you can sense it in some kind of a way. Except, there is one thing. There is one thing that all of us know is real, that all of us interact with every day, that none of us have any doubts about its existence, whether it exists. None of us have any doubts. However, it is a non-physical thing. It cannot be measured. It cannot be detected. I'll give you a hint. You're interacting with this thing right now. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Thoughts. Ideas. We all know that ideas are fundamentally real, but they're not physical. We all interact with ideas probably more than anything else, but they are undetectable. So wouldn't it make sense that the overlap between the physical world and the spiritual world would largely take place in our minds, where ideas exist? And if our lives are always moving in the direction of our strongest thoughts, wouldn't it make sense that your mind would be the primary battleground for the spiritual world? And the authors of the Bible have actually been saying this for a very long time. And what Jesus says is very interesting. Jesus says, listen, there is a power or an intelligence or a consciousness or a being that is trying to destroy your life, but by corrupting your mind. And this being is the very first spiritual creature other than God that is ever mentioned at the beginning of the Bible. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? The devil. The devil. For the next few weeks, we're going to be in a series on the devil. And this series is going to be called The Enemy's Playbook. How does the enemy, the devil, corrupt our thoughts and therefore corrupt our lives? What is his playbook? Now, can we talk about the devil for a second? Can we just talk about this for a second? Because can I be honest? When I first really started following Jesus and really started to understand the Bible, and you're really diving deep on things, there was nothing that I found more far-fetched in all of the Bible than the idea of the devil. I'm just being completely honest here. I wasn't supposed to say that because I was in Bible school, but I'm like, is this a metaphor? Come on, something. If something in the Bible is like a myth, it's got to be this thing right here. And so if you're in this room and you're like, Josiah, you don't believe in a literal Satan, do you? Is that actually what you believe in? The answer is yes, I actually do. But as far-fetched as that idea sounds, let me take you on the journey that I went. I've come to find two things about the devil that make it way less far-fetched. And in fact, I don't even know how to explain reality now without this idea, okay? Here's the two things. The first thing is Jesus talked about the devil all the time. Jesus talked about the devil all the time. So anyone who believes in Jesus, or a popular phrase is I subscribe to the teachings of Jesus. If you subscribe to the teachings of Jesus, Jesus taught about the devil constantly. But here's the second thing that you need to know, and I think this one is the most helpful. When I pictured the devil, I definitely was not picturing what Jesus was describing. When I picture the devil, I don't think I was picturing what Jesus was describing. We tend to imagine the devil like this. Do you have some photos? Okay, there you go. So, there's Will Ferrell from SNL, you know what I mean? And there's South Park, and there's Crunk, and so when we picture a devil, like he's got a pitchfork, and he's got like pointy ears, and he'll jump out and bite you like Pennywise the Clown. Or like his big goal, like in The Exorcist or whatever, like he'll possess you and make you run around like the walls and the ceiling, like that's his big thing. And he lives in Bowser's castle surrounded by lava. And I don't know if you guys knew this, it was actually his birthday this weekend. That's why those kids kept knocking on your house, is because it was Satan's birthday, you know what I mean? Like that's how we tend to picture the devil. And if this is what's in your mind when you think of him, of course, you're going to discount this idea very quickly. And actually, I'm going to just be real. This depiction of the devil has caused a lot of, I think, well-meaning people to draw some pretty outrageous and superstitious conclusions, and I think actually do some damage to our culture in a very real way. However, this depiction is not even close to how the Bible describes the devil. This is way more influenced by Dante's Inferno, by the way, than like anything else. So I want to look at what the Bible itself actually says about the devil. The best definition I've ever heard of the devil is from this pastor named John Mark Comer. He wrote a phenomenal book called Live No Lies by John Mark Comer. This was the most helpful thing when I was exploring this topic. I would definitely recommend it. I'm definitely pulling from his content. But here's what he says about the devil. He says, the devil is a real but immaterial intelligence whose end goal is to destroy life by transmitting lies. The devil is a real but immaterial intelligence whose end goal is to destroy life by transmitting lies. He's real. He's actually there. He's not a myth. He's not a metaphor. But we cannot, he's not here to stab you. He's not here to scare you. He's here to do something else that we're not detecting. Now, let's go through the Bible. How does the Bible describe the devil? Let me give you kind of like the mosaic picture that the Bible gives. The Bible calls him a thief. It calls him the tempter. It calls him the destroyer. It calls him the deceiver. The Bible says the devil is like a prowling lion looking for someone to devour. The Bible says the devil is the great dragon who deceives the whole world. The Bible says the devil is the ancient serpent who leads the whole world astray. All of these are images, but what do all of these images have in common? They're all descriptions of deception. They're all different ways of deceiving someone, taking something from someone, leading them along the right path. According to Jesus, the devil is the one who transmits lies. The devil is the one who transmits lies. I think the most helpful verse of the devil is from Jesus himself in John chapter 8. Jesus says, listen, the devil was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. None. When he lies, he speaks his native language. As easy it is for me to talk in English, that's how easy it is for the devil to lie. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. I think when a lot of people think of the devil in our culture, we think of like Swiper the Fox from Dora the Explorer. You guys know, you've seen Dora the Explorer. That's how I learned my Spanish. ¿Cómo? Anyways, so like, and here's the idea. Like, you're out and about, you're doing your thing, whatever, and out from some cave, comes this like crafty guy, and like, you don't believe, like he's invisible for some reason, right? So he's invisible, and he like whispers into your ear, and he's like, kick that toddler, you know what I mean? And he tries to convince you to do something bad. One more beer, that will do the trick, and he tries to, or like seriously, you're in your room alone, and the devil like sneaks out, and he's like, look up pornography, But if you say no, he's like, oh man, and like goes back to his little cave. That's, I think, how a lot of us think of that. Now listen, the devil does tempt us. I'm not getting rid of that whatsoever. The devil definitely does tempt us, and he definitely tempts us in moments of weakness. But this depiction of the devil, we have this idea that sometimes the devil is lying to us, but most of the time he's tucked away in his little cave. I would propose a very different depiction of the devil. I think of it more like this way. The devil works more like a radio transmitter or a Wi-Fi router. You got that image? Yeah, perfect. So like a transmitter or a Wi-Fi router, it's constantly transmitting a signal. It's constantly transmitting a signal. And you can't see it. You can't feel it, but your car can pick it up. Your phone certainly can pick it up. And in the same way, our minds can pick up the lies that the devil is broadcasting. I want to propose something to you. You know, I think some of us might have this idea of like, man, when I feel low, maybe the devil is attacking me. Or when I feel dark, maybe the devil is lying to me. And that's probably true. But I would like to say, and the Bible definitely seems to say, that the devil is way more satisfied when you don't detect him. He's way more satisfied when you don't feel low. He's constantly lying. And most of the time, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, you don't feel it. It's just the same thought in your head over and over and over. To quote the usual suspects, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist. Here's a question for you. What if the seemingly random thoughts in your head are not random, but they're strategic? And they're strategically broadcasted into your mind, not to get you to do the craziest, darkest thing, but to lead you down a certain path that will slowly and steadily distance you from God. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a bunch of examples. Why is it that your anxiety feels like it has a mind of its own? As if those thoughts are planted there. As if they want to be in your head, as if they are strategically placed there to prevent you from making the good decisions that you need to make. Why is it? As soon as you experience anything positive, you immediately criticize it. And you immediately start breaking it down. And you immediately start talking to your friends about why I don't trust that. Some of you are doing this right now as I'm talking. Why is it that right before you work up the courage to do something good, and insecurity immediately comes into your mind? You know, it's like, I can talk in front of thousands of people, no problem. But when I'm at the gas station and I feel in my heart I should like share Jesus with somebody, all of a sudden, I'm like the worst person that's ever existed. Why is that? Why is it anytime I want to read the Bible, all of a sudden I want to play like Angry Birds? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? Why is it that as soon as you get home and you should be present with your family, you cannot stop thinking about anything outside? Like everything that's on your mind is outside of the home. You can't be present at all. Why is it as soon as you go to forgive someone, your brain immediately replays what they did to you and why it's so unfair and why they should be the one apologizing to you, and I won't ask for forgiveness until they decide to change? Why is it that your trauma, which is well in the past, continues to haunt you over and over and affect you every day? Here's a big one. Where does the thought to kill yourself or to harm yourself even come from? Everything we know about evolutionary biology tells us our bodies are hardwired to protect ourselves, not harm ourselves. So where does the thought to kill myself even come from? And then here's another one. How come as soon as I tell you that Jesus loves you, you say, I know that already, or you say, that probably applies to everyone else in the room, but it doesn't apply to me, and that fundamental truth can't make its way into my heart? It seems to me that these lies are not random at all, but they're strategic. It's a constant broadcast of the same message over and over, as if there is an intelligence who is deliberately after controlling the direction of your life. Don't you understand? The devil's weapon of choice is not a pitchfork, it's a lie. The perpetual broadcast of the same idea. Now, let's ask an important question, because I think this is important to define. What is a lie? I think that's an important question. What is a lie? Well, a lie is the opposite of truth, right? The best definition of truth I've ever heard is that which corresponds to reality. Truth is reality. So a lie would be like unreality. Anything that doesn't match reality. Here's a definition. Lies are your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions that do not match reality. Your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions that do not match reality. When my brother Gabe was probably like 7 years old, we would just play this game with him where we would convince him that he's Superman. Be like, Gabe, you're Superman. And he'd like punch us and we'd go, oh, you're so strong, you know what I mean? And he'd like shoot lasers and we're like, oh, not the lasers. And you know, Superman, did you know that Superman has ice breath? Very weird thing. So, oh, not your ice breath, you know. And we do this with Gabe. Well, one time we were hanging at my grandpa's house and we were outside on my grandpa's like deck that he had just built. So we're out on his deck and we're doing the game and he punches us. And we're like, oh, go fly, Gabe, you're Superman. Superman, that's amazing. And finally, we had gassed Gabe up so much, he goes, Superman, and he jumps off the deck, straight off the deck, into a thorn bush. Oh, here, he had found his kryptonite. Anyway, here's the point. My brother believed with all of his heart that he was Superman. It felt true to him. It felt right to him. He was trying to be genuine. He was trying to be authentic, but he was wrong. And because he was wrong, he harmed himself. The devil knows that if you believe a lie, no matter how passionately you believe it or how deeply it seems to be true, you will self-destruct. If I believe a lie, even an innocent lie that doesn't feel bad, I will self-destruct. This is why M. Scott Peck, he's a famous psychiatrist, and he's the author of The Road Less Traveled, if you've ever read that book. M. Scott Peck, he defines mental health as an ongoing process of dedication to reality at all costs. The more I live in reality, the healthier I am, the happier I am. But the more I detach from reality, the more my life will slowly deteriorate. The devil doesn't have to destroy you. He just needs to convince you that something that's not true is true. Listen, what is insecurity at its core? It's a lie. What is looking at pornography at its core? It's a lie. What is racism? What is prejudice? It is a lie. What is cheating? The stats say that 1 in 5 married couples will cheat on each other at some point. What is cheating? Well, maybe I would be happier if, maybe that person seems to understand me a lot better. It's a lie. But also, anxiety is a lie. Overworking is a lie. This is one I fall into all the time. I don't think God's going to take care of me. I don't think God's going to come through. So I take my life into my own hands. I clock in 80 hours at work, and other parts of my life that God is asking me to also do start slowly falling apart. Why does it feel like this conversation doesn't apply to you? The devil's trying to get you to not understand what God is trying to say. And why does it feel like God doesn't like you? Don't you get it? Every bit of evil, every bit of sin, from the big to the small, it all starts with a lie. But let me take it a step further. Can I take it a step further? Find me any area of your life that you are unhappy with, and I will show you a lie that you believe to be true. Find me any area of your life that you're unhappy with, that's unhealthy, that's falling apart, and I will show you a lie that you believe to be true. Now, I know that this is a very discouraging conversation to a lot of us, and can be an overwhelming conversation to think about, to even download, because here's the question. What if I've based years and years of my life into lies that do not match reality? I'm 10 years into building my life upon this thing. I'm 20 years into building my life on this thing. That's why, if you're a young adult and you ask any older adult in the room what they should do with their life, 90% chance they'll tell you to do what they did with their life because they can't admit that they made a mistake. What if I'm dedicated, locked in, and now I'm decades later into believing something that isn't true? A couple years ago, my wife Sarah and I went to a pumpkin patch. I know, we're super special. In the fall, we went to a pumpkin patch. It's really unique of us. Anyways, we went to a pumpkin patch, and they had this corn maze that was clearly designed for children, clearly. They have the little corn boy with the smiley face on the sign in the front, and the pumpkin girl, and they're holding hands and they're friends. It's like for kids. And we looked at it and we're like, what the heck? No one's here. Let's go through this corn maze. It should take 5 minutes. It's for kids. Let's go through this thing. So we enter into this maze. And it turned out that this maze was way bigger than we expected it to be, way bigger. So we start walking, and we take a turn, and we're walking more, and we take a turn, and we're walking more, and we take a turn, and then all of a sudden, 20 minutes goes by. And I don't know where the entrance is anymore. We're not even close to the exit. The corn boy and the pumpkin girl are long gone. And I'm like, where are we? What the heck is this? I didn't know this thing went that deep, and we're still in the middle of the maze. We had walked for 20 minutes, and we realized that we had just gone in a circle for 15 of those minutes. So finally, this family passes by, and I asked the dad, I'm like, hey, do you know your way out of here? And this dad just looked Tom Hanks in Castaway. You know, he's like, I've been here for 45 years. You know, like, have you ever looked into the eyes of a father and you can see, like, I'm more concerned than my children are right now, but I can't let them know that. You know, so I'm like, do you know the way out? And he's like, I have no idea. We've been here forever. My kids are starving. We just live here now. You know, so we're going through the maze. I'm like, I can't find the egg. Like, is this it? Is this the end? And all of a sudden, I remember the plot of the hit 80s movie, The Children of the Corn. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is exactly how that started, like exactly how this went. So I just looked at Sarah, I'm like, hey, Sarah, if you just see a bunch of like demon-possessed third graders, you should probably just sacrifice yourself. You know, I have a long life ahead of me. You're gluten-free, so you wouldn't have even survived like 100 years ago. It's like survival of the fittest. I feel like it's evened out, you know what I mean? Like whatever. So all joking aside, I don't know how long we spent in this 5-minute children's maze. We were definitely in there over an hour, and the only way we were able to get out of this maze is eventually I just started walking through the corn walls, which must have really freaked like the little kids out when I'm like, hello, you know, as they're trying to get through. Anyways, we get out, and it's fine. We're laughing about it. It's a good story, whatever. But after we got out, I remember Sarah looked at me, and she's like, what if we were little kids? Like, what if 7-year-old Josiah, who this maze is clearly designed for, walked into this thing completely by myself? I would have gotten lost. I would have been terrified. And I know for sure I would have like stopped in the middle and at some point just broken down and cried because I can't find my way back home. Can I be real? Can I just be real? No matter your age, no matter your phase of life, all of us have felt that way. No matter what's going on, we've all had this feeling that there was a right path to go down life, and I didn't take it. And I took bad turn after bad turn after bad turn, and now I don't know what to do, and I am living in the ramifications of my wrong turns. That's all of us. I am living in the ramifications of my wrong turns, the lies I believe to be true. You know, when you were young, I don't know, high school, whatever, you believed a lie that if I sleep with this person, we're gonna be, you know, more connected, we're gonna love each other more, like whatever it is. You believed a lie about this person, and that was a wrong turn. And whatever, you're 16, but that wrong turn led you down a whole path. So now all these things about your self-esteem years later, and all these series of relationships because you believe that that's normal or whatever. And that affected your view of God in a very dramatic way, even though it was way back in the day. When you were in college, you believed a very subtle lie that everyone believes. Everyone believes this lie, that if I just work hard enough, if I dedicate myself enough to this, if I block out all the distractions, which a lot of times are some really important things, and I just get the degree, I get the job, whatever, find the girl, whatever it's gonna be. When I'm 35, then I will be happy, and now you're 35 and you're not. And you believe the lie, that was a wrong turn. But you're looking back and you're like, that was 15 years of my life. And now I don't know what to do. Can I talk to the men in the room for a second? I think a lot of the men in this room believed a lie that a lot of people believe. We're fed to believe it, which is to prioritize providing for your family over being with your family. It's more important to provide for your family than to be with your family. And you believe that because all sorts of people believed it. But that was 18 years. And so now your relationship with your kids is broken. Your relationship with your family is broken. I don't know what it is for you. That mistake was a wrong turn. Blowing up that relationship was a wrong turn, and it cost years of my life. Not asking for help was a wrong turn. Not telling anyone about the thing was a wrong turn. And then abandoning God, that was a wrong turn, the worst turn of them all. And now all of us are living in the ramifications of those lies that we believe to be true. And so you just can't help this feeling of it's too late for me. I was talking to this woman, she was probably in her 60s. And we were talking about God and Jesus, and it was awesome. And she eventually looked at me and said, you know, Josiah, that's really great for you. That's really great for you. You're young. You're young. It's too late for me. I think that's what a lot of us believe. I can't trace back the steps. I can't undo the things that I did. I believed too many lies. Now, everybody listen to me. This is the most important thing I'm going to say tonight. Is everybody listening? Yes? The Bible calls the devil the father of lies. By the way, one of his favorite lies is, it's too late for me. He loves that one. But can I tell you a truth that will change your life if you can really believe it? Not believe it, believe it. Do you know what Jesus calls himself? The devil's the father of lies. But what Jesus calls himself is he says, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Jesus is the truth. He's the antidote to every lie that we ever believed to be true. In fact, the Bible says the Son of God came to destroy the works of the devil. Jesus is the truth. But second, Jesus is the way. No matter how much I've messed up my life, no matter how bad it is, no matter how many wrong, whatever, Jesus is the way, but Jesus is also the life. Jesus is the life that you never had. Jesus is the childhood you never had. Jesus is the redemption of the life you think you've ruined. He's the brand new start, no matter how long it's been. Can everybody do me a favor? Can everybody just close your eyes? I just want to picture something. Everybody close your eyes. Here's what I want you to picture. I want us to go back into the moment in your life when you started heading down the wrong path. Can you picture the moment in your life, or a moment in your life, when you started to believe certain lies? Maybe it was a mistake you made. And that mistake felt irreversible. That mistake felt like something shifted. Maybe it was a name someone called you and you believed it. Or a title you picked up for yourself along the way. Maybe it's a childhood memory, a painful one. Maybe it's an entire season of your life. It's not a pinpoint, it's just like a whole season of your life. I just want you to picture when you feel like you started making wrong turns. How did you feel? Let yourself go there. How did you feel? What were the emotions? I don't know about you. I can tell you how I feel. I kind of feel like a 5-year-old kid stuck in the middle of the corn maze that has no idea how to get back. That's how I feel. So now I want you to picture something else. Now I want you to picture that version of you. Maybe that young version of you is walking all alone in the middle of a maze. Wrong turn, stuck. And you feel the way you felt. You're not sure if these things are reversible. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you start crying. Maybe you give up. I don't know what it is. But you're in the middle of the maze. And I want you to picture this. Imagine as you're sitting in the middle of the maze, a person walks in. A person. And you can feel that this person is safe. And you can feel that he understands. And there's something warm about him. And you realize this is Jesus. This is Jesus coming to the maze of my life. And he has the warmest smile on his face. And I want you to imagine that right in the middle of the worst mistake of your life, right in the middle of the most depressed season of your life, when you feel the most helpless, the most pathetic, I want you to imagine that Jesus just stoops down and looks you eye to eye, and he says, hey, it's gonna be okay. I'm here. It's gonna be okay. And you launch into your story. This is what I do. You launch into your story like, Jesus, I've ruined everything. Here's all the mistakes I've made. Here's all the people I've hurt. I've wasted decades of my life. I don't know the way back home. But then Jesus he stops you and he looks at you with the deepest kind of compassion. He says, no. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. I don't tell you the way. I am the way. I don't give you the truth. I am the truth, which means you don't need to know your way out. You just need to know me. You don't need to know your way out. You just need to know me. You can open your eyes. Everybody open your eyes. I remember being a kid. When I was a kid and we'd walk into like a city, like Cleveland or whatever, I'd get super overwhelmed with everything going on. There's traffic lights, there's people walking by, there's all these stores, I'm like, everything I was ever taught was like stranger danger. So I'm like, there's so many more vans here than I was expecting, you know what I mean? Like, so you're just overwhelmed. And I remember being a kid, and I remember my dad looking at me and saying, Josiah, I just want you to hold my hand. I want you to focus on one thing. He didn't tell me, look out for this type of person. He didn't tell me if this thing happens, this situation. He didn't tell me, turn left, turn right, turn left. He didn't tell me any of that. He said, Josiah, there's only one thing I want you to worry about. I want you to hold my hand. When Jesus meets you in the middle of the mess that is life, he says, there's only one thing I want you to worry about. Hold my hand. Remain in me. Hold my hand. And I will guide you out of whatever you think is hopeless, whatever you think has tangled you up. Listen, you don't need to know the way out. You just need to know Jesus. You don't need to know the way out. You just need to know Jesus. You are not too far gone. You don't have a story or a situation that can't be redeemed. You might have destroyed your life, but on the cross, Jesus was destroyed to give you his life instead. So there's only one thing you need to focus on. Take his hand. Hear his voice. When he goes left, go left. When he goes right, go right. And he will untangle you from whatever's going on. So here's how I want to end. I just want to pray. I just want to close in prayer. And there's two groups of people I would love to pray for. So as we pray, go ahead and bow your heads, close your eyes, and just listen to my voice. Everybody hearing me? Nod your head if you can hear me. Okay. Here's the first group I would love to pray for. Pray with. If you are in this room and you do not have a relationship with Jesus, you've been living life away from him. You've been living life on your own. And you want to take Jesus' hand for the first time. You want to follow Jesus for the first time, have a relationship with him. I just want to pray some words for you to accept Jesus. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to say a phrase, and then all I want you to do is repeat that phrase just under your breath or in your heart. Jesus doesn't care about the magic words, so you can make these words however you want. He just cares about the posture of your heart. But I want to lead you in a prayer that is inviting Jesus into your life, and he will come into your life every time. You just have to ask. So here's the prayer. I'm going to say a phrase, you repeat under your breath. Jesus, come into my life. I'm done with my own way. I give you my entire life. You died on the cross so I could be close to you. No matter what I feel, you love me. So I want to trust you. Will you teach me how to follow you? Will you rescue me from where I am? And will you forgive me for all my mistakes, past, present, and future? Amen. Here's the second group I want to pray for. And just keep your eyes closed. I know there's a lot of us in this room who are followers of Jesus. You've given your lives to Jesus, but lately, this season, the past couple years, I don't know, you've wandered away from God. You have taken lies and acted as if they are true and not let Jesus' truth take hold in your life. And Jesus has never given up on you. He's been chasing after you the whole time. But you need to decide to take his hand again. And so if that's you and you've been running from God in any kind of area of your life, I want to lead you through a similar prayer. Same thing. I say a phrase, you repeat it under your breath. Here we go. Jesus, I'm sorry. I've run away from you. But I know you died for my mistakes. I know that because I have you, I'm always forgiven. But Jesus, I want to follow you. So I give up my truth and I want yours instead. You are my Lord and I am your servant. Amen. Amen. All right, I'll pray for all of us, and the band's going to lead us into a time of worship, of remembering who Jesus is and the truths that he gives us to cling to. Jesus, I pray for myself. I pray for every single person in this room. God, we are struggling to believe. I'm struggling to believe. God, you know I struggle more than anybody. God, in this time, let this time be spiritual time where you're really speaking to our hearts. And God, I pray that there's not a single person in this room who walks out of here without knowing the depth of your love for us and your willingness to rescue us from the father of lies. That you laid down your life so that we could walk with you and live with you. God, let these truths sink into our hearts, and in your name, amen.
works. You started, you'll complete it. I take you at your word. Is a lamp unto my feet. Your way is the only way forward. It's a narrow road that leads to life, and I wanna be on. It's a narrow road, but the mercy's wide, 'cause you're good at your promise. Take you at your word. You said it, I believe it. I've seen how good it works. You started, you'll complete it. Take you at your word. You spoke, and the chaos fell. I know, 'cause I've seen it in my life. It's a narrow road that leads to life, and I wanna be on it. It's a narrow road, and the tide is high, but you're upon the waters. I take you at your word. You said it, I believe it. I've seen how good it works. You started, you'll complete it. I take you at your word. You said it, I believe it. I've seen how good it works. You started, you'll complete. Take you at your word. Take you at your word. You said your love would never give up. You said your grace is always enough. You said your heart would never forget or forsake me. You said I'm saved, you called me yours. You said my future's full of your love. You never fail, so I know that you'll never fail me. 'Cause you said your love would never give up. You said your grace is always enough. You said your heart never forget or forsake me. You said I'm saved, you called me yours. You said my future's full of your love. You never fail, so I know that you'll never fail me. I take you at your word. If you said it, I believe it. I've seen
love that, man. I love it. Guys, we said it from the very beginning, but we want to help connect you outside of this room. So if anything that was happening here tonight, whether it was Josiah's message or just the worship, you just need to talk, you need somebody to pray with, I'd encourage you, don't leave tonight without doing that. Send the text, talk to the people that you came with. If you want to talk with somebody and you don't have somebody, we have a team of leaders that are outside. I'll be outside too. You would make our night if we could connect with you, talk with you, pray with you, however we can come alongside you. But we want to do that. If this was your first time here, we want to give you that gift. So make sure to stop by that desk that's out by the front doors, get that. But just thank you so much for making this part of your weekend. We love you guys, and we will catch you soon here. Bye.